Hey y'all, Rick's Guy here. Welcome back to another Timepieces for Tomorrow video. And within this video, I want to explain what is the best one and done wristwatch. Now, one and done doesn't necessarily imply that someone purchases that wristwatch and they never purchase another one. But what it means is that if someone purchases that one wristwatch and they choose to never purchase another wristwatch again, it's a wristwatch that is wear anywhere, do anything. A wristwatch that can go for a swim, a wristwatch that can enter the boardroom, a wristwatch that can be worn with a suit, a pair of flip-flops like I got on right now, and be perfectly... There's a gunshot. Did y'all hear that? Nothing to worry about. But interesting. Yep, so the best one and done wristwatch. And I'm about to show you up close what it is. And I'm going to kind of stumble here for dramatic effect. And speaking of that, subscribe to my channel, ring that bell if you haven't already, and check out all of my Timepieces for Tomorrow video playlist. That's where you're watching this video. I've been collecting wristwatches for almost 40 years. I don't consider myself to be an expert. If you want an expert, check out somebody like Archibald Chesterfield III, AC3. He hails from Brisbane, Australia. Now, he's got a lot more wristwatch knowledge than I do, but with that being said, I do believe this is the absolute best one-and-done wristwatch. So the Rolex Submariner is the best one-and-done wristwatch, and the reason I say that, and you can see here, now this is a Submariner. Don't confuse it with the Submariner Date, which has a date. If you're getting a Submariner Date with a date, it's called Submariner Date, and it's got a cyclops and a date at the 3 o'clock position. That messes with what's called dial symmetry, and it's not desirable. A lot of people think, whoa, why'd you get the Submariner? You couldn't afford the date? Well, the truth is that the most desirable one-and-done wristwatch is what you see here. It's a Submariner that has no date because you got dial symmetry. The absence of a date, if you are concerned about the financial aspect of it, the absence of the date means that it's likely easier to service. So, you know, this is just simple. I mean, there's a seconds hand, there's an hour hand, and there's a minute hand. I mean, it's as simple as one can get. This does have, the water resistance is 300 meters or 1,000 feet. So more than most people would swim. I mean, if you're down that deep, you got issues, man. I mean that's significant depth. Case thickness of this wears great on the wrist. It's not too tall, it's not too case thick. Obviously what Rolex calls the oyster case back. You got the highly water resistant case back, and then this particular reference, this is the reference prior to the current. This is a 40 millimeter, but the current reference is a 41 millimeter. Either Submariner reference is acceptable. They both have what's called glide lock. So if you want to do micro adjustments, if you get fat or skinny, you can adjust it without tools, the bracelet. The bezel action is super nice. Whether you're wet, sweaty, have gloves on, or a combination of all, it's easy to grasp the bezel. The crown is protected by crown guards. The lume is awesome. With this reference, this lume, chromalite, has somewhat of a bluish tint. So if you look at this particular Rolex reference in the dark, compared to some other wristwatches that are typically green, this has a bluish tint to the lume. Very nice, very legible. This is the best one-and-done wristwatch because, again, it's not too case thick. It's not too flashy. I mean, the unfortunate part is, or maybe it's the fortunate part, it's a matter of personal preference, this being the most iconic wristwatch in the world is going to stand out. So the only thing that I can think of that's a perceived negative about the Submariner is that most everyone, even if they don't know wristwatches, they're going to recognize it. The other thing is the stigma. If people see someone wearing a Rolex Submariner, they probably assume that person knows nothing or very little about wristwatches. They might assume that, oh, well, they purchased that watch because they wanted a Rolex and that's the one they saw everywhere. The reality is, take all of that out of the equation. Think about something that is wear anywhere, do anything from a wristwatch perspective, obviously with a highly respectable COSC certified movement, automatic movement. I mean, this is hard to trump. So I mean, this is the best one and done wristwatch. Again, I inserted all of that other commentary so that you know, if you're only getting one wristwatch and it's a Rolex Submariner, be prepared. I mean, it's those are the perceived negatives associated with it. But I could care less what people think. I've been involved with wristwatches for almost 40 years, and I know what's good and I know what's junk. And Rolex Submariner is among, well, I'll go as far as to say, if I could only do one wristwatch, I would do the Rolex Submariner. Now, one of the disadvantages is, if you're going places that are sketchy and you don't want to stand out, that's the unfortunate part about Submariner, because people recognize it. I mean, it's arguably the most iconic and recognizable wristwatch in the world. So if you're traveling abroad and you're out on the street and people are still in purses and they're still in wallets and they're still in passports and they're still in wristwatches and necklaces and earrings and all that stuff, you probably wouldn't want a Rolex. But if you live in a reasonably safe environment, especially if you do CCW where it's allowed, you're probably reasonably safe wearing a Rolex. But keep that in mind. If you want to fly under the radar, definitely don't get the Rolex Submariner as your one and done. But if you, like I said, if you're CCW where it's allowed and you're in a reasonably safe area, you're probably somewhat okay. But the unfortunate part is, the Rolex will attract not only potentially positive attention, but also less than positive attention. With that being said, I shower with this, I bang it into walls, I swim with it. I mean, it takes a beating, and it's rock solid. And the bracelet, it's tapered, it's got the micro adjustments if I get fat or I get skinny. It's just an awesome wristwatch. And the dial symmetry, the ceramic bezel, this is an amazing wristwatch. One and done, no doubt. I mean, it's hard to beat. And more than likely, not guaranteed, but more than likely, due to it being the most iconic wristwatch in the world, and the fact that Rolex often increases their prices, if not across the range, sometimes for many references, this will likely always continue to be desirable, which means that compounded with potential annual price increases, it'll likely always continue to appreciate in value. So if you ever needed to trade or sell, it's good to have something that's not only enjoyable, but something that is able to be traded or sold. Subscribe, ring that bell, and check out all of my timepieces for tomorrow videos. Y'all have a good day. Hey y'all, iRix Guy here. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please be sure to subscribe to my channel, and when you do, ring that bell icon to be notified whenever I post another video. Thanks for your viewership, and y'all have a good day.